Hello and welcome to Confused Reviews, where a cartoon drawing reviews movies, and I know I usually have a glorified reason for doing an episode, but I just felt like knocking down another horror sequel whilst simultaneously ripping it to shreds. So let's look at the slasher sequel equivalent of No Refunds, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. This movie tells the never-ending legacy of Jason Voorhees, who hitches a ride on a boat to the Big Apple, and that's the movie. I know it was heavily promoted as Jason's wacky antics in New York City, but due to having such a low budget, all the cool shit they had planned was thrown out faster than a dead teen in a sleeping bag. So in case you haven't seen it, here are a few alternate titles I whipped up to properly prepare you for it. Jason Takes the Titanic. Jason Takes Vancouver. Jason Takes My Will to Live. Jason spends 45 minutes on a boat and fucks over the audience by having the last half of the last act actually be in New York. And finally, Jason now teleports for whatever dumbass reason. And another interesting bit of backstory, the original poster showed Jason slashing through the classic I Love New York poster, and New York officials got real mad, forcing them to change it. So obviously I'll be using that poster for the rest of the episode, cause I'm controversial like that. Another odd piece of history is that Kane Hodder suited up as Jason and went on the Arsenio Hall show.
You're angry. What happened, man? Where did it all begin? Did you get cut from the hockey team in high school?
George, what do you think of all this so far?
Fuck you! Fuck you, you fuck! Fuck you, you fuck! Who the fuck do you think you're fucking with? Some kind of a fuckhead? Fuck you! Who the fuck do you think you're fucking with? Me? Don't fuck with me, I'll fuck over you. You fuck with me and you'll get fucked, you fuck! Don't fuck with me, I'm the fucker! Don't fuck with the fucker!
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, there's no turning back now. Let's pour salt on this wound and hop back to the final Paramount-produced Friday flick and, just try to pick out a needle of good in this shit haystack. This is Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. So the film begins with what looks like it should be the opening to a Ninja Turtles movie, but we quickly bounce over to the series' comfort zone, where we're literally on Crystal Lake. As Jim and Susie, played by Todd Kettlecott and Tiffany Paulson, are doing what else? Getting ready for some bang bang, and soon some die die. Carrot Top and TJ Miller's love child here throws the anchor down and quickly recaps the lake's lore for the billionth time, and we see that the crew didn't watch the original movie, as little kid Jason here looks normal and not a mongoloid. Their continuity fuck-up is then interrupted by the anchor getting caught on the giant electrical tube all New Jersey lakes are fitted with. It jolts Kane Hodder's second run at the character back from the dead. A gooey Jason rises onto the boat, but before that, jump scare time! You know, I have a hunch that Crystal Lake has a fucking gift shop on the way in. I mean, why does every character in these movies have either a hockey mask or a weapon to eventually die from? Jeez. So yeah, Jason's new and slightly oriental mask is now in place with an X mark, even though it was the old mask that had it. And after a brief bout of fucking, Jason shoots and misses, only to disembowel Jim with a spear gun instead. Come on, we all know Jay's only good at killing at a close range. Except when he isn't. And before you know it, Susie gets stabbed in the pillow in her shirt, and we cross-dissolve to a boat, where we see Rennie, played by Jensen Daggett, who is given a strange gift by her teacher, Colleen, played by Barbara Brigham.
Stephen King supposedly used it in high school.
Movie, don't drag one of the most talented fiction writers of all time into your shitty dialogue just for an aha reference. We then see Rennie's douchey Uncle Charles, played by Mark Richman, and while inside the captain's quarters, we meet Admiral Robinson, played by Warren Munson, and his kid Sean, played by Scott Reeves, who sucks at his job or whatever, but in more important matters, Jason climbs up onto the boat because his sixth sense is sensing a collection of horny teenagers. And one of the biggest problems of this movie is that it drags along so fucking slow. Most Friday movies have an hour-and-a-half runtime, but Manhattan has an extra 10 minutes tacked onto it, which allows a lot of slow-moving shots that are torturous to sit through. Yes, we get it, the boat's moving. Can we fucking move on? Thank you. But anyways, we see the production of a new Led Zeppelin music video being made by JJ, played by Saffron Henderson, and Wayne, played by Martin Cummings. The teenage Teddy Duchan is shown to be a dweeb, so JJ heads downstairs only to rock out for the final time. And, a moment of appreciation for this cute dog. Okay. Rennie then sees this weird fucking thing, and even Toby's scared of how bad this plot is. Fun fact, an idea for this movie was to have Jason box someone in Madison Square Garden, but they couldn't afford that. So instead we have a tidy version of Fight Club, where we see Julius, played by Vincent Dupree, who is giving me Teen Wolf 2 flashbacks, while Eva and Tamara, played by Kelly Hu and Charlene Martin, are gushing over Julius from above. Oh, and just because I think it's cool, some guy is killed in a sauna with a hot coal. Too bad you don't see any blood, or anything really. Out on the deck, Tamara decides to exploit Rennie's fear of water by throwing her overboard? Holy shit, movie, maybe start off by throwing water in her face or something, not attempted murder. This little mishap does give Charles a perfectly good reason why he'll die, and in the bathroom we see that the faucet is now either dispensing Kool-Aid or is hooked up to the same drain system as in It. The same liquid mirror thing from The Evil Dead shows a crappier version of Baby Jason, and we teleport to Tamara and Professor Prick as they begin to recreate a shitty porno, but he comes to his senses and stops, only to realize Garth here was filming it all. Tamara also rejects Wayne, because of course she did, and she catches a quick shower, only to have Jason Jack Torrance his way into the room, and she's killed by a scene transition. Back with the captain, he's chatting with Carlson, played by Fred Henderson, and they do this.
How old's your boy now, Carlson?
19 months.
Tremendous age.
Come on, movie, don't do that to me. Don't make me feel emotions for people that are nothing more than Jason bait. Like, now when he dies in 30 seconds, I'm gonna feel bad, because he has a newborn. Oh, look at that, he's dead. Shit. Anywho, now that the boat staff is on break, we see the whole school react very modestly to a couple of corpses on the ground, who eventually all split up to die. I mean, find the killer. Eva's down below and runs into Jason, and as she soon runs onto the dance floor, we see the dumbest addition to this movie. Jason can just teleport now. What? Why? Who thought that would be a welcomed addition? That's fucking stupid. Oh, and yeah, she's choked out and gets thrown down, but why the fuck can he teleport? Back with Julius and the rest of the boys, they weapon up, and we see Wayne wants to be the first filmmaker to make a found-footage slasher movie, but he drops his glasses, therefore he just blindly shoots at the first moving objects, and ends up actually murdering someone. But Jason knows he's the only killer on this ship, so he tosses Wayne into some electrical shit, killing him. That was kinda neat. His untimely demise does catch the ship on fire, so that's an issue, but some guy who, might have a name, sees Jason and tries to escape by climbing up an inescapable spot. Oh, and Jason tosses him to his doom, because he's either once again teleported, or Jay's gotten real quick at climbing. Julius sees the newfound corpse, and Jason throws him also, but off the damn boat! Also, Rennie is attacked by Jason, who she stabs in the eye with that pen that definitely wasn't used by Stephen King. I mean, I don't think I'll ever get over that. And Rennie, if you saw the last movie, you'd know that Jason doesn't have a left eye anymore, but I guess that gets him off you regardless.
I don't understand what's happening to me.
Honestly, I think that was unscripted, as I can only assume that's what 99% of the crew said during production. Charles slowly walks around the kitchen, and I'm waiting for the Raptors to show up, and the ship starts filling with water like the end of Titanic, and the whole crew dips out onto the lifeboats, including Julius. And at the 1 hour mark, we're finally in New York, and this is a good chance to mention there was originally supposed to be a scene where Jason climbs the Statue of Liberty, but you know, this boat rowing ever so slowly is pretty cool too. They hop on shore, and Jason follows soon after. How did he get there? I don't know, maybe he was hiding underneath their lifeboat, hence why it took them so fucking long to row? Just a thought. And we have this cute little moment, and we all know what Jason was thinking.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
They begin getting mugged by a pirate and Lou Diamond Phillips, as they almost shoot Toby, cause he's still alive, in case you were wondering, and they take her away.
Well, look, I think we'll be more productive if we split up, okay?
The assholes then give Rennie some A1 heroin, and as we all know, Jason is a big anti-drug activist, so he stabs the fuck out of one of them with a needle, and lead pipes that guy to death. Julius rolls up to Bill and Ted's phone booth, but Jason was always more of a Doctor Who fan, and pulls him out of there. Another fun fact, every punch that's thrown in this scene is real. Kane Hodder told Vincent Dupree to give him hell, and punched him over 60 times. And if that's not dedication to a character, I don't know what is. Take notes, Daniel Day-Lewis. And yeah, this is by far the best scene in the movie. It goes on for so long, it's comical just how much Jason can take, and ends with one of the series' best kills.
Take your best shot.
Sweet. The group reunites and is joined by the most Canadian New Yorker ever.
I find it a tall tale indeed, but you seem like honest folks, so I'm inclined to believe at least some of what you say. give me a liter of cola.
A what?
He's then killed off screen, and Rennie takes the wheel as she smashes into Jason, but also crashes their means of escape. A raging fire then makes her flashback to her childhood trauma of her uncle tossing her into the water, teaching her how to swim. She supposedly saw Jason, who, again, doesn't look right, but we snap back to reality to see Charles being chased by Jason, who teleports into the building and tosses him out of it, and drowns the bastard in either some ecto-cooler or monster blood. You choose which joke you like better. Sean and Rennie then kiss because they exchange 20 words to each other and run from Jason again. He then uses the Mike Myers method of entering a building and hops onto the subway, only to have Jason catch up to them really quickly. Huh. It's funny, the crew from Adventures in Babysitting was fighting a gang in the car that Jason just passed, and man, do these shots of Jason walking through a subway car look really cool. Anyways, Tommy Wiseau here doesn't want to help them, so they pull the brake and electrocutes Jason as soon as he leaves the train. And in the only thing this New York premise brought this movie, Jason standing in Times Square is admittedly awesome. Also, it's followed up by this moment.
You a dead meat slime bag! Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Glad these are the only 2 of 3 awesome moments in an almost 2-hour movie. They head to a diner, and we see Janine's sister here.
Welcome to New York.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
Oh, and as everybody knows, this cook is actually Ken Kurtzinger, the guy who'd replace Kane for FVJ. Let's see how he feels about it.
Son of a bitch.
I thought so. They head down to the sewers and meet up with some maintenance worker, and the body count was feeling a little low, so he's wrenched. And Rennie finds some toxic waste and tosses it onto Jason, revealing that he looks like either Walter melted or a Funko Pop got thrown into the oven. And they also got Jason's eyes wrong, giving him a left with no right, when it's obviously the other way around. And come to think of it, that would have made Jason blind for the latter half of the movie because he got stabbed in it earlier. Fuck. He starts limping around like a drunk guy on the streets, and the sewer floods with toxic waste, which I can't imagine is very eco-friendly, but does put our first grader's depiction of Jason to rest. And for some reason, he turns back into a pudgy little boy. What? I don't even care. Yet another fun fact. As if this movie wasn't already mega retarded, there was an alternate ending thing where the little boy Jason comes out of a grown-up Jason's mouth. Whatever drugs the crew were taking wasn't enough.
Of course I'm okay. It's you that's not okay. But you're me. So if you're not okay, that means I'm not okay. Which means I'm going out of my freaking mind here!
And in the end, the only character that matters made it. Toby. Oh, and Rennie and Sean made it too. Whatever. And that was Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and it was bad. The biggest problem is the jumbled mess of ideas. It wants to be in New York, but couldn't, and took place on a boat, and was still not entertaining or scary. It's unfortunate the low budget ruined all the cool ideas the director had for the movie, but even so, what we got instead was still pretty horrific. The characters were just there, and so many of them didn't have anything to do. I guess Julius was my favorite. He had a charm to him that what little screen time he did have, I found myself liking him. I thought Charles was okay, but his acting was a little over the top for me, and once they got to New York, there was a cool death and 2 likable moments, but that's it. 2 characters and a handful of moments was all I got out of Part 8. The plot is a complete mess and doesn't make any sense. How Jason and the boat got to New York from Crystal Lake in the first place is beyond me. It would have made more sense if they were all attacked by Jason in an airport and then on a plane. The kills were shit. No blood, no gore, and no fun. This seriously felt like I was watching the TV cut of a movie, and there were slightly better extended cuts from a work print, but still weren't all that exciting. Kane Hodder did a great job on his second run as the character, but didn't have much to do for most of the runtime, and it's unfortunate that after we got this, he suddenly looks like this. Big difference in quality there. Overall, Jason Takes Manhattan was the nail in the coffin for Paramount's involvement with the franchise, and I can understand why. Dumb plot with little enjoyment or invest-worthy characters makes this one of the Friday movies that I don't mind skipping over. It had a few good ideas that could have been a lot better with a little more money, but all I can do is judge what we got, and what we got wasn't that good. I'm going to give Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, a D-. Because the cool things we did get were completely dragged down by all the things it gets wrong, which is a lot. You know what? I have an idea. Hey buddy, Sorry to have to do this to you, but if Jason Takes Manhattan taught me anything, it's to ruin any cool thing we might have gotten. Gross. Buster, what do you think of all this? Me too. Well, time to dispose the evidence. I feel better. With all that said, I'm Confused Reviews. Thanks for watching.